Welcome to the Dr. Diane Show, where we explore revolutionary expansion of mind, body, and soul with me, Dr. Diane Hayden. With over 20 years of expertise as a mindset warrior, perspective shifter, and unshakable optimist, I am dedicated to helping you reach your wildest dreams in business, health, performance, and relationships. Learn about the power of thought and how it shapes your life to take risks, change careers, find love, go on adventures, and live passionately with me, Dr. Diane. Get ready for revolutionary ways of thinking, being, and creating an amazing life. The Dr. Diane Show starts now. Hello, everyone. I am Dr. Diane Hayden, and you are listening to the Dr. Diane Show on Transformation Talk Radio. Stay with us for the next hour where we will explore revolutionary expansion of mind, body, and soul. Each time on the Dr. Diane Show, we have experts from around the country discussing cutting-edge topics on longevity medicine, natural health, mindset, and soul purpose to help you shift your perspective and become a mindset warrior like me. I'm excited today to have Erika Dworkin. She is an award-winning and published board-certified holistic nutritionist and wellness guide. Having been mentored by a Connecticut licensed clinical nutritionist with a doctorate in pharmacy, she has a lifetime of experience in both the natural and conventional Western medicine arenas. Though she learned about wellness throughout her life, Erika was not always healthy. She had to conquer food sensitivities, emotional and learning challenges, candidiasis, a systemic overgrowth of yeast. And after walking essentially alone through the fire of her midlife and menopause journey, Erika has risen from the ashes stronger, more awake, and much better equipped to guide others. This is from Erika's chapter entitled Midlife and Menopause, Mapping Your Path to Empowerment in her upcoming new collaborative book, The Energy Medicine Solution, Mind-Blowing Results to Live an Extraordinary Life. When you work with Erika, improving your quality of life and achieving longevity will become simple, convenient, and time effective. She'll consider your whole being, your body, mind, and spirit. As she gently helps you discover your path, Erika will guide you down it without judgment. Feeling into what you're feeling, she'll tap into her resolve to empower you to find relief. She listens intently, researches thoroughly, and searches with an open mind until she discovers innovative, customized answers. And as you relax into the awareness that investing in your wellness will reduce your suffering, your collaboration with Erika will foster forward movement, self-love, confidence, real healing, and inner peace. So welcome, Erika. I'm so excited to have you with us today. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for having me, Diane. I'm really excited to be here.
Awesome, awesome. So I think the first thing our listeners and viewers will probably want to know is, what is a board certified holistic nutritionist? Because we've all heard about, board certified medical doctors, but I bet many people are not aware that you can actually get board certified in holistic nutrition, right?
Right. It's a really good question. So I live in Connecticut, and Connecticut authorizes me to provide personalized nutrition and lifestyle programs to my clients to empower them to transform their quality of life and increase their longevity. This is kind of a long answer. There's a lot to this. I'll try to make it a little quick, but under the board certification requirements of my board certifiers, the Holistic Nutrition Counseling Board of the National Association of Nutrition Professionals, I passed an exam that addressed both standard registered dietitian disciplines, but also broader holistic healing modalities. I worked 7,500 hours with individuals to promote their nutrition education and ability to heal. Also in 2010, I wrote scientifically researched articles for Natural Nutmeg magazine that spanned a lot of different topics, from menopause into inflammation to digestive issues like candidiasis and IBS and autoimmune diseases. And then also, to maintain my board certification, I have to earn continuing education credits. So it's an ongoing learning process that I have committed to. And unlike conventional dietitians and registered dietitian nutritionists, who I have a lot of respect for, we just do things differently. I focus on specific solutions, not generic ones that apply to groups. I look at wellness optimization rather than just disease prevention. I look at a wide range of holistic remedies and not just prescription drug or over-the-counter options for addressing symptoms. I address causes of conditions and not just symptoms. And this is the one that I most favor, that I love to say, is that I'm an outside the box thinker. So I am not bound to rely solely on conventional public health or medical guidelines for wellness promotion. I have lots of tools in my toolbox. And so that's a mouthful, but
in a nutshell.
It's in a very big nutshell.
Yeah. Right. Well, I think people will be excited to hear this, because I think probably, the general understanding out there is that, a nutritionist is a nutritionist, and whether they're going to see somebody who is, an RD or might be part of a hospital-based system, I think people are not really aware that there is such a wide range of disciplines within this field of nutrition, and that it's really important what you've done in terms of how much study. I mean, 7,500 hours, that's just amazing. It's, I can't imagine any situation that you probably haven't stumbled upon with that many hours with patients. True. For sure.
No, it's true. It's wide range, and very often my customers would come into me. We'll talk a little bit about, I'm sure, about my my past, but customers would come in bringing me issues that I had never even heard of. And I'm a lifelong learner and an avid researcher, so I would just dig in and find answers for them. And they couldn't get answered very often. They couldn't get answers anywhere else.
Right. And many times not even from their own medical doctor.
No.
And I think,
again, it's not to knock conventional medicine, right, at all. Not at all. But right, it takes a village, right? It takes a lot of different perspectives to promote proper healing.
Right. Exactly. And sadly, I mean, many registered dietitians and nutritionists are still following the standard American diet, and, the things you see in hospital-based systems. And it's just crazy, because there's so much more knowledge and things to be aware of out there now, and just a different way of treating people, like what you do, in terms of looking at their whole, body, mind, and spirit, and not just what they're eating.
No. And there's a reason it's called the SAD diet.
Yeah, because it is
American diet. And, I grew up in a family that was devoted to teaching people a different way, showing them a different path. I mean, my father started in 1956 as a pharmacist, and in 1970, he opened his health food store. And nobody knew from health foods back then. And right, this is what we do. We, as a family, we've always been committed to showing people a different way.
Exactly. It's so important, for sure. Well, one of the questions I always like to ask is, what makes you unique and different, and why would someone want to work with you? I feel like we've really kind of covered that, but is there anything else that you just wanted to mention to our listeners?
Well, just the way, this is a little separate from who I am as a board certified nutritionist, but I do want to mention how I operate with a store without walls. Mm-hmm. And so my business, Vitathena Wellness, was an award-winning, was formerly an award-winning nutrition center called the Manchester Parkade Health Shop in Manchester, Connecticut, which I already mentioned my father started. And so I offer over 14,000 items in an online natural dispensary that provides professional brand and national retail brand supplements and natural body care and other therapeutics like topicals and teas. But what I love to point out to people is that my clients and customers say that I am committed, compassionate, experienced, and trustworthy. And I'm committed in the sense that what I do is not a job. It is not a job. It is a mission that was assigned to me several years ago, over 10 years ago. I breathe, eat, and sleep what I do to enhance and help empower people to enhance their quality of life. It's my life's mission. And I'm especially committed to those who, as we've already said, might go to a practitioner and not have lots of tests done and still may not have a diagnosis or the guidance that they need. And I'm experienced because my father mentored me formally for 8 years. He was a Connecticut licensed clinical nutritionist with a doctorate in pharmacy. And also, of course, I've won numerous awards, 10 Best Nutritionist Awards from the Natural Nutmeg magazine readers. And Vitathena just got acknowledged as a 10 Best health food store this year. So
yeah, I think that's awesome. And I think one of the things that people will really appreciate is the fact that there's someone like you who has vetted all of these products, and
yes.
They don't have to just go, to Amazon or to CVS, or God forbid, but that's the topic for a whole nother conversation for sure. But they don't, rather than doing that, here's somebody with the amount of experience that you have and all the training and certifications and those things, who has basically, vetted all these products and put them basically in one location, one-stop shopping for people to be able to pretty much find almost everything that they need. So I think that's awesome. And so we're going to actually go to a quick break. You're listening to the Dr. Diane Show with me, Dr. Diane Hayden. When we come back, we'll explore more with Erika Dworkin. She's an award-winning and published board-certified holistic nutritionist and wellness guide. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. We're back on the Dr. Diane Show with me, Dr. Diane Hayden. And before we continue today, I want to make sure everyone knows how to contact or reach out to me. You can find me at www.drdianehayden.com or at either of my two publications, www.naturalnutmeg.com and www.essentialnaples.com. And you can learn more about Erika at www.vitathenawellness.com. That's VITATHENA wellness.com. So welcome back, Erika. We are excited to have you today and learning all about what a board certified nutritionist is and how you're so very different from a lot of other practitioners out there. And you've actually, we go way back. The listeners don't know that. We have known each other for over 10 years, maybe even, closer to 12 or 15. And you've written for my magazine for many, many years. You've been a writer your whole life, really, and writing about evidence-based nutrition articles and contributing chapters to our book collaborations. So you have something exciting that you're actually working on right now. Do you want to share that with us?
I do. First, I just want to emphasize I'm board certified in holistic nutrition. So that's where the big difference is. So I am really excited about this. I've written before, I've been published, as we've said, but I'm really excited about this new chapter that I am contributing to a collaborative book entitled The Energy Medicine Solution: Mind-Blowing Results to Live an Extraordinary Life. And that will be coming out in November of this year. And the title of my chapter, I'm sorry for that ringing of my phone in the background. It'll be chapter 3, Midlife and Menopause, Mapping Your Path to Empowerment. And my chapter is written with 24 energy healers. So I feel very privileged to be included among these, to have been invited to contribute.
Yeah, that is awesome. So question, because you write and you research about so many things. Why did you choose to write about midlife and menopause?
Well, first of all, I don't know if people can tell, but I'm in midlife and I have gone through menopause. And so therefore, based on my experience in my own life, but also with all of my customers and clients over the years, I know that women who are in midlife, who may be experiencing a wide variety of difficult menopause symptoms, are completely marginalized. We are marginalized and ignored from a health standpoint, but even in terms of how we're seen in society. And people don't want to talk about this. They don't, midlife, we kind of we want to ignore, right? We want to ignore that we're in midlife. Like, God forbid, we should say we're in midlife.
Well, we're not supposed to age, right? You know that.
Right. That's right. We color our hair. We do everything we can to not look like we're aging, like we're fooling anybody, right? And it's demeaning. It's demeaning to American women that our culture defines menopause as a time of loss. And I'm going to list the different losses just to drive this home. Loss of fertility, loss of youthful skin, emotional stability, hair, bone density, physical comfort, libido, sex appeal. And what does this all amount to? Loss of value, which to me is just unbearable. And my mission, I am here to contribute to changing our culture, to changing the labeling of this time in our life to an exciting rite of passage. That's what we need to think of this. We need to drive this home in our society. And the more we say it, the more it will be felt. And women of our age women who are in midlife or who have gone through or are going through menopause will not feel devalued. And so this is in order to restore self-love, self-respect, and the recognition of the wise woman in midlife. We're so wise. Oh my God, I would never want to go back to my 20s.
I agree.
Never.
Nope.
So also I wrote about this to minimize, because I want to minimize women's suffering. Of course, not all women go through menopause the same way. There are women who don't have any symptoms. I've met them, but most women, 85% of women have experienced a menopausal, worldwide, have experienced a menopausal symptom. And again, I feel like I've got lots and lots of lists here, but just some of them are hot flashes, night sweats, of course, digestive issues, memory lapses, unpredictable and extreme irritability and depression. And, again, the list
goes on.
It goes on. It goes on. But I think it's important to mention them because not everybody who is going through perimenopause or is in postmenopause understand that these symptoms are actually related to their menopausal experience.
Mm-hmm.
There's a disconnect. And I'm here to connect people to an exciting life experience that they can embrace, and to connect their symptoms to what's actually happening to them hormonally and in every other way, because it's a rite of passage to wisdom.
Yeah, and I love the way you put that, because I think there's so many other cultures and countries that look at it that way.
All over the world.
Yep. Definitely. And yes, it's America. We're all about like the way you look and, you know,
And
uh,
we all
except,
want to look good. I think
right,
the validity to preservation, self-preservation, but not when it's at the expense of the psyche, when it's at the expense of what we can actually bring to the table and contribute to society if we get off the idea that we lack value
right.
or that we have less value than we did when we were younger.
Well, I think it's a couple of things. I mean, women have to start to place less emphasis on physical, like, judging themselves by the way they look physically, and more emphasis on what is the value of the experience that they have in life for at a certain age, whatever age that might be. And like you said, and I agree with you, neither of us would want to go back to being 20. And so it's about, how do we as individual women look at our value, but it's also about, how society as a whole does that. And people, whether it's other women or men, um, I guess I don't know if realizing or just as well placing more value on the experience and wisdom that women bring to the table versus just the way that they look.
And what I love about my chapter is that I provide a tool that addresses all of this, that helps people, helps women. And by the way, this is not to dismiss men. Men go through the same, they go through something
Yeah.
very similar. It's called andropause. And I am passionate about helping men also in midlife. But this chapter happens to be about women in midlife and menopause. And the tool that I provided my chapter asks women to evaluate what are they focusing on? What are the beliefs that are driving them? Are they focused on the fact on their belief that their bodies are inadequate? Or can they love their body? Can they embrace a supportive belief versus that impeding belief that they can love themselves no matter what they look like, and that they're on a journey, and that they may have put on midlife weight, or in our case, in our society now, pandemic weight, right? So people have put on a lot of extra weight, and can they stop resisting that so that they can, and stop focusing on that so that they can look forward and embrace a new belief that they are going to become how they want to be, but that it may take some time. And so there's an optimism in my chapter that I really try to foster in giving people this tool that enables them to evaluate their impeding beliefs versus their supportive beliefs.
Mm-hmm. I think it's also about opportunities. If you can look at life as, okay, what opportunities do I have now? Mm-hmm. So if you're a woman in her 50s or 60s, and maybe you're nearing retirement or you've already retired, you have different opportunities now. You may have more time. You might not have had time to really focus on your weight or your health through bringing up children, taking care of a family, running a career, all of that. But now you have time to do that. And believe me, anybody can ask me. I know better than anyone that it doesn't matter what age you are. Every woman should be lifting weights and engaging in strength training, because you can still build muscle and increase your metabolism and change all those things, even up to age 90.
Absolutely.
People can read my dissertation if they really want all that information. But yeah, so I like to look at it as, okay, what opportunities do I have at this age now that I didn't have? And how do I see things differently? Like, when you're 50, you look at things differently. And I like having that wisdom. I'm way more spiritual than I was when I was 20, 30, even, like 40, early 40s. And I love that because it gives me a different perspective on things. So, I think I love what you're doing. And I think the tool is going to be amazing for women. And I would encourage people to think of it in terms of what opportunities do I have? Like you said, taking the focus away from, stop thinking about the negative things about you and focusing more on, what are the positive things that I like about myself now and that I can look forward to.
And I want to add a couple things. What we resist persists.
Yep.
So the more whatever we focus on is what we're going to create. Right. And also, as far as opportunities, it's also about what opportunities, I put this question out to our listeners, what opportunities are you going to create for yourself? Because we have the power to create. We are creators. We are source beings that co-create with source, whatever you consider source to be, wherever you came from. And
exactly.
So
yep, we definitely have the power to do that. And I love that phrase. That's another way to look at it. We're going to take a short break. You're listening to the Dr. Diane Show with me, Dr. Diane Hayden. When we come back, we'll be talking more about midlife and menopause with Erika Dworkin. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. We're back on the Dr. Diane Show with me, Dr. Diane Hayden, and I'm talking today with Erika Dworkin. She is a board-certified holistic nutritionist. You can learn more about her at www.vitathenawellness.com. That's VITATHENA wellness.com. So welcome back, Erika. We are talking all things midlife and menopause and how to empower women. And you've been telling us a little bit about your chapter in the new book that is coming out. And one of the things that you talk about is the 5 essential steps to mapping midlife empowerment. So I wanted to make sure that we cover all that and get into that. So what are the 5 essential steps?
So we've already addressed the first most important one that weaves through the other 4 steps that I've identified in my mapping program. So that is create positive beliefs about midlife and menopause. Essential step 2 is learn to cope better with your other life stressors. I'm just going to list these first and then we can discuss whatever you think is appealing to people. Essential step 3 is change your diet and make other lifestyle changes. Essential step 4 is add supportive, high quality, natural therapies. And essential step 5 is one of my favorites. Explore energy medicine options.
Cool. We could do a show on each one of those.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, we've been talking a lot about belief. I think that to me, like, I love that you listed that as step 1, because I am, as you know, I'm a firm believer that what you think about and your mindset and what you believe is what you create in your life. And I think it all starts there, right? I mean, we can, I say to people, you can educate people till the cows come home on how they should eat and what supplements they should take and what they should do for exercise and all this stuff. But if they don't have the belief and the mindset, that they're going to be successful, they're going to create, whatever it is that they want, all that education is a moot point in my mind.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that I've often thought of this. It's unfortunate that this isn't taught in grade school.
Absolutely.
Because this is like an essential life lesson that our experiences do not create our beliefs. It's the other way around. And I have been a student of this and other related metaphysical principles for, I think now longer than this, but formally the last 7 years. And I've lived it. I know how I love teaching people about manifesting because you literally can can create money. You literally can create health. You can create whatever you want. And reality does not precede belief. It's the other way around. So,
Yeah. I actually think we come into this world knowing that, and it gets untaught out of us. Or how do I want to say that? Like taught out of us? Like
indoctrinated. Well, we become
yeah.
indoctrinated in other disciplines.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. But I think kids are master manifestors.
They are.
Yep.
Oh, they have the program that I have been in for 7 years, the Avatar program, really welcomes children, and parents who are enlightened bring them in, and it's amazing for them to learn it so early in life, because
Yep.
then they become masters of their universes, right?
Yeah.
They're just masters and mistresses. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. So step one, belief. Tell me the second essential step again.
So the second one is cope better with your other life stressors. So menopause is a stressor, right? So, but there are so many others. And I actually have steps 2 through 5 outlined that will be coming out. It's available to anyone who calls me or emails or texts me. But it's going to be available on my website free of charge. So the step 2 is outlined there. It goes through in my document what possible life stressors there are. So there are physical, there are emotional, and then there are ones that are both physical and emotional. So it's important to identify those so that one can, in this case, a woman can manage them. For example, manage the cortisol, the excess cortisol that is produced from all that stress, because excess cortisol has been tied to so many conditions that are present in women suffering from menopause.
Right. And in addition, it's almost impossible to lose weight if your cortisol levels are high.
Exactly.
All the time. Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, your body's basically in that fight or flight response all the time, and it's going to store, as much fat as possible.
And if we are, one of the stressors is negative self-talk, right? If you're beating yourself up all the time, how are you ever going to get from where you are to where you want to be? How will you transform? And so do you want to move on to step 3 or?
Actually, just give us one tip on how to cope with life stressors. What's your favorite one?
Oh my goodness. So I also provide this in my mapping document that will be on my new website. It's coming very soon. So one of the ones that I included that most people would not consider, like you would think of yoga, you would think of Tai Chi and
massage.
Yep. And massage. What about decluttering?
Yeah.
Like I have been going through some changes in my life, and it has caused an immense amount of clutter. And so now I'm taking the time that I have to declutter, and I get so uplifted when I look at, say, the corner of my garage that is now all cleaned up, everything is organized. And it's also just the process of, it's not just the result, it's the process of decluttering where you're organizing and you're feeling like you're getting immediate results, right? It's nothing that you have to wait for. You can get a massage, and that I'm all for massage therapists and massage therapy, but then like the next day you could be right back into your tense mode. You could be tense all over again.
Yep.
When you declutter, it's done. And you do one manageable space at a time according to what you're able to do. So that's one that I love. Even house cleaning is another de-stressor. For some, it might be very stressful.
I was going to say, Some women are listening to this are like, what?
Yeah,
Is she crazy? Like,
yeah,
I
right,
hate house cleaning.
right,
That's
right.
going to
And
stress me out
so,
more.
right. So, I love meditation. I am someone who works very hard to walk or talk. I'm not perfect, but I don't have to work very hard. It's just something that I need to do to stay sane. And one of the
Right.
things that I do is I meditate every day. I take me time every morning. I have my little meditation room, and that's my space every morning. And so meditation, prayer also is very good for those who like to pray. Prayer, in my journey, I've learned that prayer is talking to source and meditation is listening. So
Mm-hmm.
it's not only listening to source, but it's listening to ourselves, to our own intuition. And I'm sure when you've meditated, you get aha moments. You get
Oh, absolutely.
you get
Yep.
clarity. And so that I would say is one of my biggest favorites. And yoga. I do Kundalini yoga every day. And I don't do a huge, session, but I do 40 minutes. And I get an exercising, HIIT training, high intensity interval training on a stationary piece of equipment for 20 minutes. Most people can find that time. So
Mm-hmm.
these are, those are more conventional. I mentioned the decluttering and the house cleaning because they're very unconventional.
Yeah, and one thing I wanted to say about that people probably wouldn't make this connection to, there's actually a lot of information and research out there about just how the energy changes in your house
Yeah.
or space or whatever when you declutter. And it's not just I think
Yeah.
it's more about maybe the relationship between you and your stuff. But when everything is, I think anybody can relate to this. When your desk is like cluttered with a bunch of stuff, I just feel like it takes so much more time and stress to get things done versus when the desk is like organized and clean and the space is clean, whatnot. You just find, at least in my experience, I have found that everything runs so much more smoothly. I think I'm more productive. I think I actually sell more advertising. I'm not sure how that works, but
Yeah. Well,
but
because you have open space. You
exactly.
have open space to
Yep.
fill. And thank you for making that connection because that's what I was trying to say, but it wasn't coming out. That energy shift is so important for mental and physical well-being. And you know what? To all those who think I'm crazy for mentioning decluttering and house cleaning, ask someone else to do it.
Right.
Get your house cleaned by someone else if you can, a friend or someone that you can pay if you can manage it, or get someone else to come in and declutter for you. Get stuff hauled away. Just throw stuff in a corner and ask somebody to come and take it. And there are plenty of free sites out there, free exchange sites. There's so many ways to do this so that it's not painful, or make a party out of it. Invite your friends and have a cauliflower pizza party.
There you go.
I mean,
Yep.
they're
Yeah,
fun.
there I totally agree. I totally agree. And yeah, it's really important that people make that connection between the energy in their physical space for sure.
Yes,
So we're going
yes.
to take another short break. Before we do that, my contact info for you one more time is www.drdianehayden.com. This is the Dr. Diane Show with me, Dr. Diane Hayden. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. We're back on the Dr. Diane Show with me, Dr. Diane Hayden, and I am talking today to board certified holistic nutritionist Erika Dworkin. You can learn more about her at www.vitathenawellness.com. That's VITATHENA wellness.com. So, welcome back, Erika. We were discussing the 5 essential steps to mapping midlife and menopause and your empowerment. So, the first 2 were obviously, having a good belief system and mindset. And then the second one is finding ways to reduce the stress in your life. What's number 3?
So, as I mentioned, change your diet and other lifestyle changes and make other lifestyle changes. So this, of course, is like my core, right? This is what I've done for, for 13 years. So my the document available that will be available through me and through my website outlines the importance of, again, this is really all about energy, which is why I'm excited to be in this energy solution book. Your diet, the food that you put in your body will be either your medicine or your toxin.
Mm-hmm.
And you become what you eat and absorb. So it's really critical for menopausal health, midlife health, especially because in our 20s and our 30s, our bodies can adjust, they bounce back. But as we age, we are far more sensitive to what we're eating. And our bodies cannot tolerate junk food. They can't the way that they did. Like people will say, I've heard this a lot from my customers in the past, that they'll go out and party and then they'll be wrecked for the next day, where they used to be able to just get up and do their thing. And it takes getting wrecked for them to realize, oh, I think I need to change something. So what I do in step 3 is I guide people to the guidelines for selecting a program that's right for them, a weight loss program, or it may just be a wellness program. Because I have clients now who are menopausal or postmenopausal, and they don't need to lose weight.
Right.
But they know that they need something that's going to promote their bone density, for example. They know that they need to be taking supplements. They know that they need to, sometimes someone is smoking and they know that they don't know how to quit. They've been smoking for a long time, or they have other lifestyle habits, working too much,
Mm-hmm.
workaholics, or even if it doesn't amount to being a workaholic, just working too much and not having life work balance, having more fun. So essential step 3 really talks about the characteristics of a successful program. So that successful program needs to be easy to do. It needs to, and I usually encourage people, by the way, to do it for 30 days. You take on a new program, you tell yourself, I'm going to do this for 30 days and see how it goes, because that way you're not overwhelmed by the idea that you are committing to a lifetime change and that you're never going to see your beloved chocolate again, or whatever that, in my case, I love chocolate. But, I've had people say to me, I can't not drink. I cannot eliminate my beer. So I work with them in developing an approach that can accommodate that, right? So a dietary change needs to be something that someone's going to accept. It needs to be affordable. It needs to have exciting recipes. If someone's just eating, and some athletes do this, right? They just eat salad, they just eat chicken, they just, and they do it for a while. But for someone who is looking for real life change, who's looking for their menopause symptoms to diminish or completely subside, then there needs to be something sustainable about the program.
Right.
And so what I there are certain guidelines that I recommend. I'll just throw out a few of them. One is no beef, pork, lamb, or duck. And my clients don't always like that, but that's what I stick by.
Yep.
My more vegan oriented or vegetarian oriented clients and customers, they don't have a problem with that. No gluten or dairy, because they promote inflammation. And eating whole foods, minimal processing. So cutting, canning, and freezing generally are okay. But anything beyond that is, because even those foods are processed, right? But we're talking about maximally processed, commercialized stuff, junk food. So those are some of the things that I guide people to. And I usually, with women in menopause, I work with what I call a modified keto green diet. And the reason I call it modified keto is because full keto is, I've written on this for natural nutmeg.
Right.
Keto, it's very hard to sustain. And I think it's worthwhile for people who have conditions that they've got that they must reverse quickly.
Yep. So we just have a few minutes left. I want to make sure we get to number 4 and 5. So what are those steps?
So 4 is add supportive, high quality natural therapies. So dietary supplements, I saw my father heal people with therapeutic doses of supplements for over 2 decades.
Right.
And I've been helping people avoid and even reverse some conditions with supplements.
And then people can get all that information on your website as well. What's number
4 energy medicine options?
Oh yeah, definitely.
So I tell my story in my document, that my 5-step document, about my energy medicine experience, and it's another option. It's another healing option.
Definitely. We've talked a lot about that. And also, I want to make sure you have a special offer for our listeners.
Yeah.
So what do you want people to know?
So I encourage people to call or email me to get 15% off your first nutrition consultation as a new client. And that extends, by the way, to anyone you know who you tell about this program. They can feel free to contact me. Also, 15% off your first order from Vitathena Wellness in my dispensary. And again, you can contact me and I can set you up with your account and give you the 15%. I also have 2 popular free offers that I've been giving out: 20-minute wellness assessments.
Awesome.
A free 20-minute wellness assessment and free Wellness Made Easy interactive chats that can be done in person or online.
Awesome. How can people get a hold of you? What's your email?
Yes. So the phone numbers are 860-646-8178. My cell phone for texting or calling is 202-270-5612. And I'll also provide my email. It's E for Erika and then Dworkin. It's spelled EDWORKIN at Vitathena.com, which is V as in Victor, ITHENA.com.
Awesome. So I want to thank you so much for being with us today, Erika. That is awesome information. And you've been a wealth of it. And I think that people are really going to love the show and listening to you and reaching out to you as well. I want to thank all of you for tuning into the Dr. Diane Show. Please join me the first and third Thursdays at 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific. Next time, we'll be discussing more about the power of thoughts and beliefs and the impact they have on your life. Have a great week, and I'll see you back here next time. Thank you for tuning into the Dr. Diane Show, revolutionary expansion of mind, body, and soul with me, Dr. Diane Hayden. Tune in every Thursday at 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern on TransformationTalkRadio.com. Center your thoughts on what you want and shut the door on every suggestion of fear, worry, or lack from your own consciousness or the consciousness around you. Once you master that, everything is possible. To learn more about me, Dr. Diane, and receive a free digital subscription of my magazine, visit naturalnutmeg.com.